Hello, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. You are now entering Season 2 of the Swan Hockey Podcast. Swan Hockey is flying around the junior hockey world one episode at a time. You'll experience things dreams are made of, as well as things of terrible nightmares. Strap in, hold on, and enjoy the ride. And now, Swan Hockey.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode. I am Eric Swanwick, and today we are joined by Mr. Leo Gould of the Moncton Wildcats in the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League. Also, Leo, you own a team in the MHL and the Maritimes there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Good. Doing great. Another week in junior hockey. A lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos, obviously still ensuing. What's going on with you? Where are you now? Are you in Canada or are you back in the United States?
I just got back here Saturday night. I was up there for a short trip, 3-day trip. We left on Wednesday. Went up to see the Wildcats play on Thursday, and then went up to Bathurst to see our game in Bathurst and then back home. So it was a quick trip, but it was really a great trip because we got to talk about what's going on and all the things that are happening. And both the teams are doing great, which is fantastic, you know.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it must be nice to be you. I see both your teams are in first place in their respective divisions in each league. You got, Moncton Wildcats sitting in first place in the East, and then the Lightning are sitting in first place, also in the East division of the Maritime League. Let's start with Moncton. What's new at Moncton? Obviously, coming off a major year last year. How's it seems like no time off, no rebuild, nothing. Just right back to business this year.
Well, the thing that's been phenomenal, obviously, is this new college rule has helped us tremendously, and we've kind of rebuilt our team in Moncton with some U.S. players.
Okay.
So we've got 6 U.S. players that's taken us back up to the top again, and it's amazing because you figure after you win the Presidential Cup, you usually go downhill for a couple of years. But Taylor and Gardner have done a great job of bringing in kids and rebuilding, and we're really on a roll there lately, which moved us into first place, which is great for the team and for the area and of course, the city of Moncton. So it's great.
Yeah, for sure. It's exciting stuff. And it's, like you said, like a lot of times when you see teams come off a championship year, Memorial Cup run, they're rebuilding a lot of times, but no, I just, business as usual in Moncton. And, with the new rule, obviously it's, we obviously we've been talking about it for a long time. It's completely changed. It's completely changed everything. And not only at the, the top levels of junior, but also at the bottom levels of junior. And I think those guys are still, figuring it out. I mean, we have an absolute clusterfuck for, lack of a better term at the lower levels of junior. And I think people are still trying to, figure out the new landscape and see where everything fits. But yeah, the college rule has been crazy. And then I imagine it's, obviously impacting things in, with the Lightning as well. I mean, let's talk about the Lightning a little bit. So you guys, like I said, you're sitting in first place in the East Division of the Maritimes League. And I mean, it's talk to us a little about the Lightning. So you guys are in Bathurst. How do you pronounce it? Is it Chaleur? What the team goes by?
Yeah, Chaleur, which is that area is called the Bay of Chaleur. So okay. All the youth hockey groups used to be the Lightning Chaleur. So we just kind of kept that name and put it to use, and it seems to be working really well for us. We're getting a lot of phenomenal players coming to us. And of course, what happens is the Quebec League has their draft, and then we have our draft 2 weeks later. So what happens is we draft a lot of their kids that they've drafted that won't be ready to go play for them for a couple of years. So, and of course, with the change in the college rules, it's changed the dynamic, I think, of the Quebec League tremendously. So what it's done is it's made it to the point where the Quebec League kids are not going to be 15, 16 even 17-year-olds. They're going to be mostly 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. And, of course, you can only have 3 20-year-olds and 3 Europeans. So what happens is we get these younger ones that are really good that are coming along, and they come and play for us. And now we're finding a lot of the colleges are calling us for kids and looking at our kids at the junior level, because what happens, perfect example is last year, I think we had 19-year-olds in Moncton. You could only keep 3 20-year-olds. We traded a couple away, so the rest of them will come into our junior league to finish their career at 20. So what's happened is those kids got drafted way back when, and now that they're not at the Quebec League level, they've come down to us. And now the colleges are really looking at those kids. So we're getting a lot of viewage and a lot of calls on kids from that level, which is great.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like one thing that's, important to point out is, now with these new rules and everybody kind of, now with there being like one kind of track up that everybody pretty much agrees on, that, okay, the CHL is the best, junior system on this planet, right? Everybody wants to get to the CHL. Now, what has to be pointed out is you take a league like the Maritimes League, right? And obviously there's a lot of competition, right? The Maritimes is one of 10 Tier 2 Junior A leagues in Canada. You got 2 more Tier 2 Junior A leagues in the US, and I mean NCDC's kind of fallen off, but we'll still count them for now. So there's competition. But the one thing that the Maritimes has over the other leagues, and I would put them in I would say the Maritimes and the Quebec Junior AAA League, is in terms of the major junior in the area, those teams are there. They're in the footprint, right? So in terms of getting called up and having that opportunity, right, half the battle is being there, right? You can't call up a player that's not, terms of like a spur of the moment. Like, it's easier to get a call up. It's easier to get that opportunity to go up if you're already there. Right. Not saying it can't happen from anywhere else. It happens from everywhere else. Right. Everywhere can kind of be, can feed up. Right. Players can move up from anywhere. But when you're there, there's more opportunity. Right. Like, 'cause I know from my time in pro hockey, when we were looking for a call up, people might be like, oh, you called up player A, player B is definitely better. It's like, okay, yes, but player B is halfway across the country. Like, we need a guy. Right. We need a guy tonight. That's why player A got the call up over player B. Right now, player A gets the call up. If he shines, now maybe he's there for the rest of the year. Right, but he got that opportunity because he was able to be called up based off of the location. So I think that's important to point out too. Like, as this new system, this new structure unfolds, in terms of what the quote unquote feeder leagues are. Because that's something that should be taken into consideration for decisions, right? Not the end all be all decision. Like we touched on that last episode with Nick Skurlick, but that's something that should be taken into consideration when you're looking at how all this works.
Well, that's totally true. Perfect example is like we have a kid that got called up, and they call him up, and he takes off that morning, and somebody takes him to Moncton, and he plays for Moncton that day or two. And if he plays well, and who knows, he's going to end up maybe staying there. And it's working for us in the junior league. We had 2 or 3 injuries, and we called up a 16-year-old from the midget program, and came and played for us, did a great job, filled in for us. Going to end up next year. He's not drafted yet, but he's going to definitely get drafted in the Q next year. But he won't be ready to play in the Q, so he'll come and play for us for a couple of years. And if they need somebody, they're quick job, bang, he's there. Where if he was across country, they wouldn't even bother.
Yeah, there's just more hoops that have to. Again, just like the opportunity window, like that opportunity has to be there. And I think it's also
right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Leo.
Well, the other thing is too that a lot of our U.S. kids now could come and play for us rather than playing in the NCDC or whatever, a good player, and he may not even be drafted. But if he comes up there and plays, they can sign him to a card right away. and they could bring him up if he plays that well. So the opportunities are there for them to get seen by the Q, because the Q follows us all the time. And now with this new hockey thing on TV, like I watched Moncton play yesterday. I watched my Bathurst team play yesterday. And it's phenomenal, because you know, somebody can send you a video. It's just not the same. But if you can watch a kid play for the whole game on TV, you can see what he's doing. And so now it's just phenomenal. So coaches, like perfect example in Moncton, we have 5 coaches. We have Gardner, and then we have a guy who plays for the Bruins. And then we have a defensive coach, and we have another forward coach. We have a goalie coach. We even have a coach that comes in and teaches them face-offs. He was an NHL guy, and he'll come in for maybe once a week and just work with the centers on how to take a face-off. Where do you ever see anything like that? I mean, it's just, you don't, you know.
Yeah, it's a whole new level, and it just shows why the CHL is just at a different level. And in terms of, because you're saying that for Moncton, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So even at Bathurst, like our level, we got 3 full-time coaches. In Bathurst, we have a goalie coach who's there with them every day. And it's just a phenomenal program. Both programs are, of course, we moved into where the Quebec Major Junior League Titans were playing before.
Right.
They were there for 26 years. So we moved into a phenomenal facility. Our locker rooms, everything there is like first class. You know, we've got a beautiful rink. We've got 3,500 seats. We got 20 suites. All the suites are sold out. We average in about 12 to 1,500 people a week to our games. And once we get through Christmas, I think that'll go up 300 or 400. And of course, Moncton, it is. I mean, kids don't pay a dime. They don't pay. We pay their billets. We pay for their sticks. We pay for the whole thing. Everything is done. They don't have anything really to pay for. You know?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's something that more people need to know about, because I would imagine, most people in the U.S., they really don't know much of anything about the Maritime Hockey League. Right.
No, they don't.
They really don't. It's something that people need to, people need to pay more attention to this stuff and know what their options are, know what their potential options are.
Yeah. So I think we're going to maybe do a tryout camp this year, and maybe in April, to kind of just give some kids an idea about the Maritime League, if they want to come and take a look and see. If they go on and see our website and stuff and see our facilities, there's nothing like it. I mean, maybe the USHL is the same thing, but NCDC is not the same thing for sure. And these kids here in the NCDC, a lot of them, they have 7 or 8 extra kids. Some of these teams, that just blows my mind.
The NCDC, I mean, honestly, going into this year, I thought the NCDC was going to be major competition for the Maritimes League for a couple of reasons. But now, I mean, after seeing how this year is unfolded for the NCDC, I mean, it's not even close. I mean, the NCDC is. They're going down a different path, and I'm not ragging on the NCDC by any means. I mean, I think those people are really smart. I think they developed and marketed a product that everybody wants, and now they're selling the absolute shit out of it, right? Like, I think they're very smart in terms of like business wise, but they're not building a hockey league anymore, right? They're building this business conglomerate. They're going in a separate direction, where the Maritimes League is building the hockey product, and the NCDC, I mean, it's not the hockey, it's not really a hockey product anymore, in my opinion, right? Because you just see how different the league has become depending on where you're playing. So, roster sizes have been different depending on the team. There's some teams are charging tuition, they're pulling in teams from the EHL. And there's just not enough players to go around to maintain what was that NCDC standard, right? So the player caliber has 100% changed
Yeah.
You know, and 100% that change has been a drop, not an increase. And now apparently they're going to be announcing a Florida division, or not Florida, a Southeast division of the NCDC. Yeah. And, you know, again, like they've just gone in a different direction. And, you know, what it is, it's a lot of the players that, you know, oh, I got to be tier 2. I got to be tier 2. I got to be tier 2. Without putting in the work to get to tier 2, they just want it handed to them. The NCDC is providing that platform for, hey, come play here. You could be tier 2, right? So again, like in my mind, I think the NCDC's gone off in a different direction. And I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I mean, like I said, those guys I think are very smart. They've built a product that everybody wants, and they're selling the shit out of it.
Well, the other thing that happened, one of the things they did, which I don't think was good, they tried to move into Canada, into the New Brunswick area. They have teams in St. Stephen's, Woodstock, and there's 2 or 3 other teams down there. So what happens there is those guys don't get any good players. All they're getting is high school kids that can't play junior A or major junior. So when they come up here, I went and saw a couple of games here with the Islanders, and they beat the team by 8-10 goals. I mean, that's not helping their program.
No, it's a joke.
You know?
I mean,
like us yesterday.
That's a bad basis.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, we lost yesterday in overtime, and our games have all been pretty much 1 or 2 goals a game, every game. I mean, we've won tied games with 20 seconds to go, won them in overtime, and that's what you want. You want the competition to be tough. And you can't take a shift off, because if you do, you're going to get buried, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
that's the other huge thing. That's all right. The other huge thing is that now, in the past in Canada, all American kid, 1 or 2 would come and stuff, and they'd play. But now what's happening is the Canadian colleges are losing a lot of the kids to U.S. colleges. So a lot of the U.S. players are getting an opportunity to go play at the college level in Canada, like Santa Bex, UNB, all those schools, McGill, all those schools. I have one of my kids from Florida who was a goalie I brought up there to Moncton, and he ended up finishing his career with Summerside. He got a full scholarship to go to school in Ontario, and he was picked player of his 4 years. He was picked the best player in 4 years on his team, and gave him a lot of publicity, gave us a lot of publicity and stuff. So it's like I said, now there's so many more opportunities, not only, like I said, in the U.S. schools, but all the Canadian schools. So a kid gets to play Division I college hockey in Canada, gets a good education. It's the heck's a difference where he plays, you know?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely so much more opportunity, I think, right now. And I think, like, even with the ACHA, right? Like, I think people are starting to smarten up and realizing the quality of opportunity in the ACHA, not only just with hockey, but just, I think they're seeing, like, okay, like, there's some really good academic situations here. There's some really good life experience situations here. There's just, there's just, I think this change with the CHL and the NCAA, I think, my opinion, I think it's definitely for the better. I know there's probably some people that are upset by it because they're losing maybe their Division I opportunity or whatever, but I think this change is for the better for a few reasons. One, I think it gives everybody a little bit more clarity as to, okay, this is the quote unquote totem pole, right? And we kind of all agree on it. There's no more arguing college path versus major junior path. It's all one now. The best players, this is where you go play. There's no arguing anymore. And the other thing too is obviously you would have players that would be afraid to go give it a shot in the CHL because they didn't want to lose their NCAA status. Right. So now you have players that'll take advantage of the opportunity because, again, half the battle is showing up, right? Like, so you would have a lot of players that just flat out wouldn't show up. And, and there was nothing worse than, pre this new rule, when a player would have an opportunity in the CHL at a young age and he wouldn't take it because he wanted to go Division I, but then fast forward 2-3 years, the Division I never came. Right. And his opportunity, he turned it down in the CHL for something that ultimately never materialized. Right. So it eliminates a lot of that. Like there's one agreed totem pole now that becomes more clear for players and parents. And the other thing that I like about it is it's forcing people to look outside the box, right? Like I said, with the ACHA, I think now with the Division I having more crowd, more congestion, it's forcing people, people are now having to look at Division III, but now not only looking at Division III, they're looking at ACHA. And I think a lot of people are liking what they're seeing. Like, so it's forcing people to go outside the box and explore more. And there's so much good out there. And then, the other thing that I like too, is I think that some players are starting to, say, hey, you know what? I'm 19 years old playing Tier 2 junior or playing Tier 3 junior, wherever. And you know what? I see the battle I'm up against and I've made the decision. I don't want to fight that battle to try to go Division I. I'm going to go Division III, or I'm going to go ACHA and be happy about it. And I'm going to go now. I'm not going to finish out my junior eligibility. I'm going to go now. So I think overall, I like this. And, I think there's some, again, my opinion, I think this is definitely for the better.
No, it's definitely changed the whole dynamics of hockey, especially in Canada. Like before this college thing broke, I used to have to interview 20 players to get one. Now every kid I interview wants to come. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I was like, it's just amazing, so what happens is the opportunities are amazing. And if the kids, like if a kid is an 18-year-old is not drafted in the Q, and he comes and plays in the Maritime League and he plays good, he'll be on the Q team before his eyes blink. You know what I'm saying?
There's so much opportunity.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's so much opportunity.
Plus the experience, the living experience is amazing. The billets are unbelievable because these towns, like Bath is a perfect example. They fight over these kids to come and live with them, and they take care of them like you read about. We have an academic advisor who takes care of making sure their education is done and done properly. And Moncton's state of the art. They have the best of the best. Our lady that Mrs. Noseworthy, who handles that, was chosen Quebec the best educational person in the whole Quebec League. Wow. So everything is done first class. It's not like, in the past, coaches didn't want their kids to come to Canada because they didn't want to lose their $10,000 a year that they were getting for them to play. And so they'd tell them, they don't care about education. Our education program in Canada is as good as anybody as far as the way the teams operate it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I wonder how many people out there feel like they've gotten taken for a fool over this, right? Like, cause for years, everybody's telling these kids, don't go major, junior, bad. They don't care about school, or, it's not good. They, they're built for the NHL, or they're built for pro hockey. There's too many games, now those kids are eligible. And I think everybody's seeing that is the best development league on this planet. The colleges are going after those kids. The players want to be there. The agents want the players to be there. It's it's kind of, and it's something that obviously I've always been a big, proponent of the CHL, forever. But I think a lot of people are seeing it now that, hey, we were kind of bullshitted all this time. It
really is amazing. How important the education is, and Mr. Irving and us, myself and Roger Shannon, we're all about education. So we want to make sure that that's done properly, and it's working great.
Yeah.
So kids,
Sorry, go ahead, Leo.
And we do a lot of stuff outside of hockey. Like they had a big parade in Bathurst on Saturday night. Every kid of ours was involved in that. We had a float in the program, like Moncton had a float in their Christmas parade. And I mean, we go into the schools. We go into the schools on a weekly basis. We do charity work and help elderly people. And, it's an education in every way that every kid should have. I see some of these NCDC teams, and it's all about hockey. They don't care about anything else. It's all hockey. And, becoming a young man and growing up is part of doing all those kind of things that you don't even think of unless somebody does it, hooks you up and gets you going in it,
Yeah. I mean, and it's just, do you remember, what was it, like 2 summers ago now it was the first Swan hockey seminar. You were speaking at it. I remember you were presenting, and this is like pre-rule change, right? So I remember you were speaking at it, and I just remember all the players and parents sitting there. You're explaining the Moncton Wildcats and the Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League and what it has to offer. And I remember everybody's just like, and obviously this was in Boston, right? So it was in the United States. And everyone's just sitting there like waiting for the gut punch. They're like, "Oh, this sounds great. This sounds like." And then like when you got done, I just remember seeing everyone's faces like looking like confused. They're like, "Wait, where's the bad part? We've been told to stay away from this. Where's the bad part?" It's just, because I think a lot of people got a lot of misinformation all these years.
It certainly did. And of course, now they can't stop it because it's so huge now. And of course, what's happening is, you're taking our U.S. kids coming and they're going to get drafted in the NHL. Like Connor Garland was a perfect example. I mean, I brought Connor up to Moncton, 5'7.5", 175 pounds. Connor signed his total earnings at this point are $58 million. Pretty good for a 5'7.5" kid. He played in the USHL and he didn't like it, so I took him to Moncton, and he just played. And I remember his father called me saying, "Hey, Leo, we got to trade him. He's not in a nice time. He's 16 years old." I says, "You got to walk before you run. Just relax. He'll be fine." And his last 2 years, he scored 128 points. And because he was small, he got drafted in the 5th round. But look at him today. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. And everyone listening, let us, remember the conversation continues in the Discord. I'm in there every day answering questions. Feel free to join. Yep. You can get there from swanhockey.com. Let us know what you think. Leo, thank you very much for doing this. This has been an awesome episode. I'm glad, I'm glad we did it, and we'll have to do it again soon. We'll have to get you back on here.
Yes, you're doing a great job with that. I think it's so important to get the news out to people, what's going on. And one other thing I just want to touch base is that the Wildcats just got our new bus, $1.2 million.
Oh, I saw it.
You should see this thing. It's the most craziest thing I've ever seen. It only has 3 seats in it. Every seat has the logos in it. It's unbelievable, but it's got the wildest set of lights. So you can turn the light, all kinds of different colored lights in the bus, outside the bus. When it's coming up to the rink, underneath it's all blue. I mean,
I saw that thing. Yeah, that thing must be a lot of fun after a win.
Oh, the kids just love it. I mean, it's just amazing, and that's hockey in Canada. That's the way it's structured, So anyway, again, Eric, thank you. You do a great job, and anything I can do to help, let me know.
No, I really appreciate that. And I'm going to post a link to the bus in the junior hockey discussion in the Discord under Podcast Hub. So I'll post a link to the bus. You guys got to see this. It is sick. Like it looks like a party bus almost when everything's going. That's why I say it's got to be a lot of fun on the way home from a win. Like you guys, it's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the kids have been winning like crazy, so they're getting a lot of good lighting.
Yeah. Oh, it's sick. Yeah, I'll post a link to that. So awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Leo, thank you again so much.
Okay, we'll talk soon.
All right, thank you, Leo.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Swan Hockey Podcast. We remind you that season pass points are available to listeners. For more information, please visit www.swanhockey.io. Until next time.